Hi everybody. We just finished up another week of voting yogis, and this week's topic, something that I have spent a lot of time talking about in therapy. If you don't know, voting yogis is a weekly yoga class that taps into the wisdom of yoga philosophy and applies that philosophy to modern day campaigns and politics. So if you're really engaged this cycle, if you are working on a campaign, either as a volunteer, as a staff, as a candidate, hopefully it creates a deeper connection to the work that you are doing. If you're more into yoga, we also provide a lot of opportunities to get to know great candidates and organizations that are just doing awesome work this election cycle. So this week we featured Dr. Woody Myers and my friend Linda Lawson and their campaign for governor and lieutenant governor. And thinking about them and thinking about their lives of service, I chose the theme to be Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga could shortly be described as service to others, but in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the foundational texts for yoga philosophy, it is described as the spiritual practice of selfless action performed for the benefit of others. So it's an easy connection to make that sentence relate to Dr. Myers and Linda Lawson, but there are other ways to connect it to modern day campaigns, and one of those is something that I just really struggle with a lot, and that is the releasing attachment to the outcomes of your actions, of releasing attachment to the fruits of your labors. And why that's relevant to campaigns now is that we're 3 weeks out, and anyone who's been just burning rubber, trying to do everything they can to have a successful election cycle, we risk burnout, but it's very, very human and very, very easy to feel like you're not getting recognized for the work that you're doing. And when I joked about talking about this in therapy, I run into this in nearly every area of my life. And so what's beautiful about a yoga practice, though, is that it's a practice. It's not a perfect. And so when we are feeling this way, when we're feeling this very normal human feeling of, being underappreciated or working and not getting anything in return, we have this opportunity to practice yoga, not necessarily practicing on our mat, but practicing out in the world, and being able to take that step back and say, I feel this way, I'm practicing my karma yoga, and I'm reminding myself that this comes from a place of love. And we really have to kind of keep asking ourselves, like, if we're doing something not out of love, if we're doing something out of resentment, then we're really not being honest with ourselves about the work that we're taking on. So just reminding ourselves of the reason why we do what we do, and trying our best to release our attachment, whether that's feeling, more included, or feeling more recognized, or feeling like more good things should be happening because of the work you're doing. We're practicing yoga when we can just stop ourselves and ask those, 2 quick questions. Why are we doing it? And is it out of love? So with that said, we're going to do this really quick practice. It will just be a couple fairly nice stretches for our back and shoulders, and we're just going to mostly do it out of a tabletop position. So you don't have to have a yoga mat, but I'd recommend doing it maybe on carpet or some sort of softer surface. But we're just going to start here in tabletop pose. So we've got our hands directly beneath our shoulders, our knees are directly beneath our hips. And on our inhale, we're going to drop our belly toward the floor, lifting our head up toward the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to come back through, arching our back and releasing our neck so our head comes towards our arms. Inhaling to drop our belly and lift our head. Exhale. exhaling back, releasing our neck, arching our back. One more time, dropping our belly, lifting our head, exhaling back. And then inhaling to a neutral tabletop position. And from here, we're going to put a little more weight in our left hand as we inhale and lift our right arm up toward the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to thread our right arm underneath our left arm, letting our shoulder come to the mat, letting our head rest on the mat. Staying connected with our breath, breathing deeply in through our nose and out through our nose. And you should feel just a really nice shoulder stretch here. Putting pressure into your left hand. Inhale, lifting your arm back up toward the ceiling, and then exhaling your hand back down to the floor. As we inhale, we're going to lift our left arm up to the ceiling, and as we exhale, we'll thread our left arm underneath our right arm, letting our right shoulder come to the mat. Our head come to the mat, feeling that nice stretch on the opposite side. Staying connected with the breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Really feeling that air move through your body. And as you inhale, putting pressure into your right hand. Lift your left arm back up to the ceiling, and then exhale, bringing your hand back down to the mat. So we find ourselves once again here in tabletop. This time we're going to take our knees out wide, letting our big toes touch behind us. And then we're going to sink our hips back towards our heels as we extend our arms in front of us, letting our heads rest on the mat here in child's pose. There are several versions of child's pose or any resting posture you can take. Just staying connected with your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. On our next inhale, we'll start to climb back up into tabletop position. We're going to just take 2 more rounds of cat-cow, dropping our belly with an inhale, lifting our head, exhaling back into cat, dropping our belly, lifting our head, exhaling back into cat, pausing in that neutral tabletop position, and then just coming back to our legs, finding an easy seated position to finish this practice. So I want to leave you with the words of Mother Teresa, who said that the fruit of love is service, the fruit of service is peace, and peace begins with a smile. So just as we move forward through this week and the last 3 weeks of this cycle, keep reminding yourself why you're doing this. And if it's not out of love, maybe find some other way to give back. Next week, we will be featuring Jonathan Winesapple, and I'm really excited about that. So I hope you can join us. Thanks.